Good morning, everyone. Today we'll be discussing the module on allergy and climate change. This training module is designed to make you well versed with the effects of climate change on allergic diseases. To start with, we'll discuss the prevalence of allergic diseases worldwide and the Indian scenario. In the developed world, about 20% of the people are affected by allergic rhinitis. About 6% have at least one food allergy. About 20% have atopic dermatitis at some point in time. Depending upon the country, 1 to 18% of the people have asthma. Allergic conditions, statistics and epidemiology of US and UK shows that allergic rhinitis is seen in about 35.9 million of the, that is 11% of the population in US and about 5.5% of the population in UK. Similar is the cases with asthma, atopic eczema, anaphylaxis, drug and food allergies. Coming to the Indian status of allergic diseases, in such study that was done in 2012 and published in Indian Journal of Tuberculosis and Lung Diseases, it was a hospitalization-based survey that showed that 20 to 30% have allergic rhinitis and 15% of the people develop atopic asthma. The estimated rate of asthma and allergic rhinitis was 2.05 and 3.3% respectively. This ICMR study observed the prevalence of allergic rhinitis was approximately 20%. This is the pictorial representation showing the prevalence of the allergy, where we can see that most of the Indian states fall in the green zone, that is showing a prevalence of about 1,000 to 2,000 per lakh population. Another major study was the ISAC study, that was the phase 3 international study of asthma and allergy in children that reported an overall prevalence of current Vs of 7% in Indian children aged 6 to 7 years and aged 13 to 14 years. Prevalence of nasal symptoms was 12.9% and 23.6% in 6 to 7 and 13 to 14 years age group respectively. The prevalence of allergic dermatitis in India is lower as compared to the other countries, and most of the participating Indian centers showed a lower prevalence rate of less than 5%. The incidence of allergic rhinitis as per a review in India ranged between 20 to 30%. And the review showed that there has been a consistently rising trend of allergic rhinitis in children over a period of 15 years. The prevalence of allergic conjunctivitis is 12.22% and the occurrence is more in males. Overall, the trend data also suggests that the prevalence of allergies triggered by pollen, mold, and other allergic substances is on the rise. Now, coming to what we will be covering in this module. This module will be broadly covering the relationship between climate change and allergic diseases and how the climate change influences different allergic agents with reference to pollens and how the climate change affects the production, allergenicity, and dispersion of pollens, mold, and how the climate change increases the mold growth, the complex relation between pollution, allergy, and climate change, presentation of allergic diseases, various sources of data acquisition, health indicators for surveillance and data analysis, measurement of adaptive capacity and preparedness of healthcare system. Start with relationship between allergic diseases and climate change in general. To understand this, we need to know what is weather and what is the difference between weather and climate change. Weather is a condition of the atmosphere over a short period of time. On the contrary, climate is how the atmosphere behaves over a relatively long period of time. Climate change has been described as the biggest global health threat of the 21st century. Change in the climate and correlated global warming affects temperature and humidity, as well as the frequency of the extreme events. Climate change results in change in temperature and humidity, thus affecting the precipitation. This is a flow chart explaining that how the climate change results to the exacerbation of the respiratory allergy. Now, what is precipitation? It is the product of condensation of atmospheric water vapor that falls under gravity from clouds. The main forms of precipitation includes drizzle, rain, sleet, snow, ice pellets, graupel, and hail. What actually happens is that with climate change, there is a change in the precipitation and increase in frequency of extreme events such as droughts, thunderstorms, floods, etc. Mold proliferation is increased with floods, and rainy storms are responsible for severe asthma. Thunderstorms also cause exacerbation of allergy. Coming to pollen allergy and climate change. Now, what are pollens? Pollen is a fine powder produced by trees, flowers, grasses, and weeds to fertilize other plants of the same species. Most of the pollens that cause allergic reaction come from trees, weeds, and grasses. Many people have an adverse immune response when they breathe in pollen. Climate change affects pollen production, thus influencing allergic condition. To understand the effect of climate change, we need to know that climate change causes enhanced greenhouse effect. Now, what is this greenhouse effect? When the sun's energy reaches the Earth's atmosphere, some of it is reflected to the space and the rest is absorbed and re-radiated by the greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases mainly include water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, ozone, and some artificial chemicals such as chlorofluorocarbons. The absorbed energy warms the atmosphere and the surface of the Earth. Human activities are increasing the concentration of these greenhouse gases, and thus there is an enhanced greenhouse effect which is contributing to the warming of the Earth. Exposure to the high carbon dioxide results in the plant exhibiting enhanced photosynthesis, reproductive effects, and producing more pollen. And there is an increase in the potency of the pollen and increase in the intensity and the time of flowering as well. This flow chart denotes the whole process. With climate change, there is increase in the carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere, which is one of the most important greenhouse gases. Thus, there are changes in temperature and humidity, which results in increased production of pollen, and there is prolongation of the pollen season. Also, with climate change, there is increase in the wind speed, influencing the dispersion of the pollen, resulting in change in habitat and distribution of the plant species. All these factors, in combination with air pollution, contribute to the exacerbation of allergy. Coming to the mold exposure and climate change. Climate change increases the severity of indoor and atmospheric mold exposure. The climate change and its effect on the weather, that is storms and heavy rainfall, and rise in extreme events like flood, result in increase in number of buildings with damp and mold problems. In addition to this, there are effects on outdoor mold growth and allergen release due to changing climate variables. This is a flow chart denoting the same. During thunderstorms, there is an increase in the respirable allergen load in the air. This is due to dry updrafts that entertain whole pollen into the high humidity at the cloud base, where the pollens rupture and the cold downdrafts carry pollen fragments to the ground level where the outflows distribute them. Also, because of the strong electric fields developing during thunderstorms, positive ions are released from the ground and may attach to the particles and enhance bronchial hyperresponsiveness, collectively again leading to the exacerbation of the allergy. Coming to respiratory allergy, environmental pollution, and climate change. Airborne allergens and air pollutants are frequently increased simultaneously in the atmosphere, resulting in the enhanced IgE-mediated response to aeroallergen and enhanced airway inflammation. Particle pollution, vehicle exhaust, and ground-level ozone are the most important type of hazardous pollutants. Ozone is a strong oxidant and is associated with persistent structural airway and lung damage. Overall, what is happening is this flowchart is denoting that there is simultaneous increase in pollutants and allergens that result in exacerbation of allergies. Air pollutants cause inflammation of the respiratory mucosa, thus increasing the permeability. And some of the pollutants may even bind to the pollen and enhance the allergenicity of the pollen. In addition to these factors, climate change like wind speed, rainfall intensity, temperature further add up to the above factors, resulting in the exacerbation of allergies. Clinical presentation and symptoms of allergy. Allergy is a hypersensitivity disorder of the immune system of human body. Allergic reactions occur when a person's immune system reacts abnormally to normally harmless substances present in the environment. A substance that causes a reaction is called an allergen. Allergen is formally called allergy is formally type 1 hypersensitivity. The symptoms of allergy may vary from minor symptoms like mild irritation to life-threatening reactions. The common symptoms include sneezing, itching of the nose and eyes, runny nose, watering of the eyes, tingling of the mouth, swelling of the lips, tongue, itchy rash, cough, chest tightness, wheeze, and severe reactions like anaphylaxis, which is defined as a severe allergic reaction that may involve swelling, hives, lower blood pressure, and in severe cases, shock. What is a rash? A rash is nothing. It is just an area of irritated or swollen skin. What is cough? Cough is a rapid expulsion of the air from the lungs to clear the lung airways of fluids, mucus, and other materials. And what is wheezing? Wheezing is a high-pitched whistling sound made while breathing. It is caused by narrow airways or inflammation. Symptoms of allergic rhinitis include sneezing, rhinorrhea, congestion, postnasal drip, sore throat, itching, ear pain, hearing loss, snoring, mouth breathing, headache, congestion. And the symptoms of allergic rhinitis include itching of the eyes, redness of the eyes, burning sensation, watery discharge, and even mild photophobia. Coming to the data sources, data with relevance to the allergy and climate change can be extracted from already available data pool, but there is need for aeroallergen monitoring and forecasting services. Also, there is need for reporting and recording of the allergic diseases. The data related to allergy can be collected from the hospitals, mainly including the incidence, prevalence, mortality, and the morbidity data related to allergic diseases. Apart from data on mortality and morbidity, ARI surveillance data, that is the respiratory infection surveillance data, is also available from the hospitals and is also being presently collected. Then is the data from the Indian Meteorological Department, which provides data regarding temperature, rainfall, wind speeds, and help predict the extreme events like thunderstorms, cyclones, etc. Indian Meteorological Department was established in 1875 and it is a national meteorological service of the country and principal government agency in all matters relating to meteorology and allied subjects. It provides current and forecast meteorological information for optimum operation of weather-sensitive activities and warns against severe weather phenomena like tropical cyclones, dust storms, heavy rains and snow, cold and heat waves, etc. Then the data can also be collected from the Central Pollution Control Board. It provides data regarding the air quality and greenhouse gas emissions. The Central Pollution Control Board is a statutory organization constituted in September 1974 under the Water Prevention and Control Pollution Act 1974. It has an automatic monitoring station measuring respirable suspended particulate matter, carbon dioxide, ozone, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and suspended particulate matter regularly. Then is the data on monitoring of atmospheric pollen and mold spore concentration. Vallabhbhai Patel Chest Institute is a premier institute working on respiratory allergy diagnosis and management. Daily monitoring of the pollen grains is done on the roof of the multi-storied building of Vallabhbhai Patel Chest Institute. This is how the Burkhardt volumetric air sampler looks like. It is installed on the roof of Vallabhbhai Patel Chest Institute. The pollen grains are collected daily by using the 24-hour Burkhardt volumetric air sampler with a speed of 10 liter per minute airflow, and they are counted with light microscopy. And monitors are installed in the gates of the institute, displaying the information which is updated on daily basis. You can here see this is the display station. This is located on the gate of Vallabhbhai Patel Chest Institute, where daily concentration of the pollens is displayed. This is how the slides are made and different type of pollens are identified. Coming to the surveillance. The health indicators for climate change and allergy include emergency room visits related to allergic diseases, hospital admissions related to allergic diseases, and mortality and morbidity related to allergic diseases. To understand this, we need to understand what basically is surveillance. Surveillance or monitoring has been defined as the performance and the analysis of routine measurement aimed at detecting changes in the environment or health of populations, and indicators are quantitative summary measures that can be used to track changes. Indicators can be used to assess determinants of health so that the area for intervention can be identified. They also help to evaluate the outcome of policies and programs aimed at providing public health. The health indicators for climate change are thus the following information. The health indicator are quantifiable characteristic of the population which can be used as for describing the health of the population. The health indicators provide comparable and actionable information across different geographic, organizational, or administrative boundaries and can track progress over time. Health indicators are mainly mortality indicators. However, morbidity indicators and health service indicators are also there. Morbidity indicators measure the occurrence of the disease, and mortality indicators are used to quantify health problems as well as define or monitor health priorities and goals. Coming to the non-health indicators, the non-health indicators are measures of environmental variables that either directly or indirectly can affect health. For example, temperature extremes, greenhouse gas emissions are important health indicators because they increase climate change and affect public health through direct effects such as heat waves and through indirect effects such as increased growth of plant biomass and affects allergy airway diseases. Increasing carbon dioxide levels has been shown to increase plant biomass and to raise the pollen production and enhance pollen count, which is an important indicator for allergic diseases. Coming to the measures of the adaptive capacity. Adaptive capacity is the ability of a region or a community to cope up with and thrive in the face of change. Various indices are used to measure adaptive capacity. Now, the measures of the adaptive capacity which are relevant to allergy and climate change are social factors like education, cultural background. Education and economic condition determines the capability to cope up with the changes and is positively associated with adaptive capacity. The more the economic resources, the better is adaptive capacity. Lack of financial resources limits adaptation. Economic and physical factors like how occupation, house also influence allergy and climate change and are appropriate measures for adaptive capacity. The human factors like demography also influence. Demography is like structure and health of population also play a role in determining adaptive capacity. Cultural practices, occupation, house influence the vulnerability. These will be discussed further, particularly the cultural practices, occupation, and house that are relevant to the Indian context. Now in India, for example, the machine operators and assemblers, mining, construction, manufacturing, and transport has been shown to have high risk of asthma. Silk allergy has been implicated in the development of bronchial asthma in workers of silk filatures in South India. Cultural practices has also been associated with allergic conditions like incense burning that has been linked to allergic asthma. Henna, kumkum, bindi, alta application has been linked to contact dermatitis. Coming to measures for preparedness of healthcare system. Education can be in the form of Education is one of the most important methods for allergen avoidance. This can be in the form of lectures, posters, videos, or digital displays and focus on common signs and symptoms of allergic diseases, risk factors, and triggers of allergic diseases, methods of allergen avoidance, and precautions during the climate change. Reporting of the allergic diseases will form a data source. Various departments can work in collaboration. For example, information from the meteorological department about extreme events can help the hospitals to be prepared and increase their healthcare worker and resources. Other measures include implementation of the strategies to notify health facility patients, visitors of air pollution advisories and warnings, support work from home and telehealth. The telehealth services should be promoted whenever possible to minimize exposure. Rapid cleanups following extreme events prevents the indoor air quality problems. Energy consumption can be minimized by using environment-friendly practices like cycling, recycling waste, etc. When to initiate actions? Now, action should be initiated prior to the commencement of the pollen seasons, which has been defined in various parts of India. For example, from Delhi, two main pollen seasons are recognized, that is Feb to April and September and November. Three main pollen seasons are recognized from West Bengal. Similarly, from Bombay, March to mid-May, September to November, and December to February has been identified. There are various studies in which different pollens from different plant species are counted and identified. The common pollens found in Delhi were juniper species, C. sativa, and others. The average pollen concentration started increasing from the months of May to June and started falling in months of July to August. The pollen concentration again started increasing in months of September and October and November and started to decline in December. Now, all such studies giving such information are helpful because such information can help the doctors to provide advice for the avoidance of exposure of allergens. Now, another point where we have to initiate the actions is during transitions of the season. Each season brings with it specific allergens. During winter, indoor rather than outdoor allergies are usually an issue. As winter turns to spring, grass and trees become more abundant and spores begin released by the outdoor molds. When summer rolls around, grass pollen is problematic and mold spores leak in warm regions. Another time when we need to initiate actions is when the humidity level changes. Heat and humidity usually occur together. Humidity can make air quality worse. Humidity can increase levels of mold and dust mites. They are known to trigger asthma. Ozone level can rise along with humidity, triggering asthma symptoms. Now, other things when we need to initiate actions is measures should be taken before major festivals and during and after floods and natural disasters. We need to increase the public awareness on climate change and allergic diseases. We need to increase the knowledge of the knowledge providers on relationship between climate variables and allergic diseases. Population-based educational campaigns to increase the public awareness should be done. Coming to the key learning messages from this module. It is important to know the impact of climate change on allergies. Changes in pollination adversely affect allergies. Weather effects because of climate change results in increased mold allergies. Air pollution and climate change have combined adverse effect on allergic condition. Thank you.